Look at a modern satellite map. We have charted almost every square inch of the Earth's surface in hyper-detailed, high-altitude resolution. Yet, despite this technological omniscience, a 1,400-year-old Islamic prophecy insists there is an island out there that we simply cannot see. According to the texts, this hidden location serves as a physical prison holding Dajjal, a deceiver and the ultimate apocalyptic figure. This raises a glaring question. If a massive physical prison exists somewhere on our planet, why does it remain completely invisible to our satellites? The primary evidence for this island comes from the 7th century. A man named Tamim al-Dari and his crew of 30 Arab sailors were trapped in a violent sea storm, drifting off course for an entire month. They eventually washed ashore on an uncharted western island. There, they were confronted by a bizarre, heavily hairy beast calling itself Jassasa, which acted as a spy. The beast directed them into a nearby monastery. Inside, they found a massive, terrifying man bound tightly with heavy iron chains, stretching from his neck all the way down to his ankles. The prisoner immediately interrogated them. He demanded to know the current water levels of Lake Tiberias, waiting to hear if it had dried up, using the lake's depletion as a ticking clock for his own release. He then shifted to politics and religion, asking if the unlettered prophet had emerged from Arabia and if he had engaged his people in battle. Finally, the chained giant revealed his identity. He was Dajjal. He declared that once his chains were broken, he would roam the entire earth, leaving no settlement untouched, except for the holy cities of Mecca and Medina. When Tamim al-Dari returned and told Prophet Muhammad this story, the prophet confirmed it to his followers. He pointed his hand toward the east, officially launching a geographic cold case that has lasted for centuries. Because the prophet pointed east, modern investigators zeroed in on Socotra, an incredibly isolated Yemeni island located 400 kilometers off the coast in the Arabian Sea. Its biology is genuinely unsettling. The island is famous for the dragon's blood tree, which possesses an interlocking canopy and literally bleeds a thick, dark red sap when its bark is cut. Geographically, the island holds the Al-Huk cave. Stretching 3 kilometers deep into a mountain, it easily matches the terrifying colossal scale required to hold a gargantuan prisoner. It sits totally isolated from the outside world. Hundreds of unique plant and animal species create a stark, alien ecosystem found nowhere else on the planet. But there is a fatal flaw in the Socotra theory. We can see it. It is thoroughly mapped and frequently visited, which directly contradicts the core prophecy of total obscurity. The search often turns to archives of the Age of Discovery, like the enigmatic world map by Ottoman navigator Piri Reis. On one uncharted island, Reis illustrated a half-man, half-beast creature. Many believe this matches Jassasa, placing the prison in the western Atlantic. By the 20th century, this theory centered on a specific shaded zone in the Atlantic Ocean, the Bermuda Triangle. The region is notorious for unexplained compass failures and missing vessels. More importantly, it contains over 300 highly treacherous, uninhabited islands where humans have never set foot. Modern writers argue that Dajjal's chains broke after the prophet's death, and he now uses this restricted zone as a secret headquarters. They suggest global powers like the US and Israel coordinate with him here, using the triangle's natural hazards to mask a hidden command center. This evolution from a remote cave to a modern military restricted zone shows how we adapt the prophecy. It transforms an ancient monster into a puppet master behind modern global power structures and surveillance states. Ultimately, the physical investigation hits a wall. Neither Socotra nor the Bermuda Triangle can be definitively proven as the actual island. Theological scholars argue that the location is not a standard set of coordinates waiting for a satellite pass. It is a divine blind spot, intentionally veiled by God from human perception. The original text warns of an internal collapse of character rather than providing a set of coordinates. It describes a psychological and spiritual test designed to find our weakest points. The true defense against Dajjal is not finding his island. It is fortifying human resilience and faith for the day that unmapped threat finally arrives.